Now we are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mickey Haight from Desert Turtle Armory. Today, by popular demand, I'm going to be remolding my Dragon Priest mask, which was actually one of the first things that I ever produced. Way back in, must have been 2000, right after Skyrim came out, so that would have been 2011. Dragon Priest mask from Elder Scrolls Skyrim. What I've got set up here is Rebound 25. I could use Rebound 40 on this, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use Rebound 25, even though it's a lot stretchier than what I actually need. What I've got here is about an ounce and a half liquid of Part B, ounce and a half of Part A, and a very, very small amount of silicone thinner. What that will do will be to help spread the coat evenly over the mask. It will also help release any bubbles, so hopefully I don't have any bubbles in my print coat, which would be awful because that will leave bubbles or little nodules on the mold itself, which of course you don't want because then you got to go grind those off. Anyway, so I'm going to start by pouring in Part B. No particular reason to start with Part B, just the one I grabbed. You always want to mix your chemicals in a separate container than you have measured them out in. I don't always do that myself, but it is the recommended and the way you're supposed to do it. Sometimes I get lazy and go, I'm only going to use this much. I'll just pour it straight into the container and mix it again. Fortunately, with 1-to-1 mix ratios like you get with the Rebound here from Smooth On, not a sponsor, you can get away with that. With other stuff that you find chemical-wise, you'll hit like a 1-to-5 ratio or 40 parts to A to 10 parts B ratio or some shenanigans like that. There's like one that I have that's like 40 parts A to 12 parts B. It's a nightmare to measure out. So 1-to-1 is always cool. It's simple, it's easy, you can't complain about it excessively. Unless you're really bad at eyeballing equal levels. Which I used to be. I got a lot better at it. I'd have my stuff come out wrong all the time and be like, what did I do wrong? Oh, I probably didn't mix it evenly. That would probably do it. Oops. I'm going to give it a shout out to Ted, who's holding the camera right now. Thank you, Ted. You want to mix it until it's a nice even color. The instructions recommend a full minute. We're not going to mix it that long. It really doesn't need it. As long as you scrape the sides and the bottom of the container and make sure that everything is fully, thoroughly mixed in, you get that nice, lovely kind of orange sherbet color. Salmon almost. And then what I'm going to do on the next coat, which will be in about an hour, will be to add a little bit of a silicone dye in this just so that I can more easily see what coverage I've gotten and where. It's not as necessary in a one-piece mask mold like this, but it's been really helpful for me to do that. Did I get enough thinner in there? I hope so. You're not supposed to go overboard on it. Which is really easy to makes it easier to differentiate the layers. What I'm doing here is I'm pouring it up from really high. That's supposed to help release any bubbles that get in the mold. Hopefully I made up enough. I thought this was going to be thinner. Should be enough coverage. That's weird. The silicone thinner usually makes it a lot thinner. I'll spread it out. Yay, big goopy mess. So what I did to get this mask, since the mask itself isn't flat like my Jax mask is I put a little clay underneath this back part here and the front part up on top. And then I've bricked this up with some Legos just to keep the silicone from spilling everywhere. That shouldn't be an issue too much on this coat, but it will on the next couple of coats. I want to just make sure it's nice and contained so that I can throw some freeform air on top of it for a nice mother mold. And I don't think I mixed up enough silicone. What a bummer.
Next coat, right?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't need to be excessively concerned about getting the clay covered because it doesn't matter. That doesn't need to be good on the print coat because I'm gonna like cut that off and throw it away after I mold these. No, actually I think I did mix up enough silicone with all this goopiness. And my little spatula going on here. The guys at Reynolds Advanced Materials down in, I think it's just north of Tempe. I don't know if they're actually in Tempe or if they're in Scottsdale. Recommended that I actually go out and buy cake frosting to practice doing this, since it's a pretty similar consistency to what you get from the silicone molding materials. So if you're already good at frosting cakes, there's a good chance that you'll be good at this. Yeah, no, I think I do actually have enough coverage here. Provided I can keep scooping it up enough from the bottom. Hopefully the lighting's good enough here. Some more on the bottom of the bucket. I think I may actually have 100% coverage on this. That would be super cool. And then I can... What I'll do then is I'll make the next coat with significantly more silicone. I'll leave it a little bit thicker. And then I'll be able to get the coverage over the rest of this. Essentially what I'm doing here is just making a one-piece mold. So when I'm done with this, I'll have it covered with a piece of freeform air to give it structure while I'm pulling the cast, so that it doesn't go all weird and out of shape. There's a couple of minor undercuts on this right here and right here that I'll have to make sure I get level before I go into the mother molding process, or else this thing will lock onto the mother mold and then I'd be very, very sad. Wouldn't be able to get a solid cast out of that. And that looks like I've got 100% coverage on that. A very, very thin first coat. God willing, I didn't get any bubbles in it. The only bubble that I can think that I might have gotten would be right up here in what isn't a nose. Which makes the mask a little bit awkward to wear if you've got a bigger nose, since it goes in backwards like a skull rather than forwards like humans actually have noses usually. Scoop that up there. And then quit screwing around with it so I don't screw anything up. Not that this is particularly easy to mess up at this point. I don't have any really big nasty undercuts or particularly irritating voids or anything in this particular model, but it's still good practice just to make sure you got your coverage. Anyway, that's it for the first coat on remolding the Skyrim Dragon Priest mask. This is again Mickey Haight from Desert Turtle Armory, and I'll see you guys in an hour for the second coat.